Hello, episode 16 of the podcast. Today I am going to be having a wee chat about scale weight. Just basically my take on it, my thoughts on it. It's something that is talked about a lot when it comes to especially fat loss, even gaining muscle as well. And there's a lot of different opinions about it, and this is my take on it. Am I saying that this is 100% the right opinion or the right take on it? No, it's just, but over time and what I have learned about scale weight and researched about scale weight, this is what I believe to be the best way to look at it. So yeah, probably going to be short and sharp today, but over the next couple of weeks there's going to be a couple of really good guests on and conversations happening, so I'm looking forward to that. However, as I said previously, I am hopefully going to be doing more of these short information kind of based podcasts, and hopefully have them good to go each Monday, start of the week, for people to listen to when they're maybe feeling a wee bit down on motivation and stuff going into the week. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. This light looks a bit bright on my face. I think that looks a bit better. Okay, so scale weight. Does it define your progress? No. Is it a useful tool to monitor progress? In my opinion, yes. It's all well and good to say, fuck the scales. However, if you're aiming for fat loss to get leaner, and you're consistently gaining weight, slowly, so you might not notice it, over a space of months, say, it's probably a sign that there's something not right within your diet or your activity levels. On the flip side, if you're looking to gain weight and looking to gain size and you're constantly losing weight, it's probably a sign that you are not eating enough calories or being too active. When, if you're having issues eating a certain amount of calories, you'd need to move less, essentially, so you don't lose weight. So yeah, if you have body fat to lose and you're trying to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stone, however it may be, as you eat in a calorie deficit over time and lose body fat, you should probably see your scale weight drop, especially if you've got a lot of body fat to lose, because especially at the start of that journey, as you start to burn more calories and eat less food, you're going to shift a lot of that body fat and you're going to be lighter because you're losing that fat from your body. Yes, if you're doing resistance training, there can be times where you're going to be gaining lean muscle tissue, especially at the start of your training journey if it is new to you. But would it be the case that you're constantly gaining weight every week, gaining muscle tissue every single week, offsetting all the body fat you're losing? I would say no. The problem we have with people stepping on the scales is, I think people will think that it's always going to go down, and that is definitely not the case. It's never going to be, well, in maybe some cases, I've definitely seen it in some cases where people just drop. However, in most cases, it's never going to be linear all the time. It's never going to be every time you weigh yourself down. There's so many reasons that your scale weight could get offset. Your fat loss could get offset on the scale. As I said before, you could be gaining lean muscle tissue. You could have water retention, which is not obviously body fat. If you are retaining a lot of fluid under your skin, that could offset a drop on the scale. That does not mean you're not losing body fat. It's water, and that will flush out at some point. And there can be lots of reasons for water retention. That's another podcast in itself. Volume of food in the stomach, and if you've not fully digested your food, you've just eaten a meal, you're going to have food in your stomach and you're going to be heavier. If you've been to the toilet or not, Again, that could dictate how much you weigh on a scale, how much you've eaten prior to weigh-in, and that's even in the morning. So if you're weighing yourself in the morning, if you've had a meal later on at night, the previous night, or that can still affect your scale weight in the morning. So all these things could mean that you don't drop on the scale from one weigh-in to another, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not making progress with fat loss. And that's what you need to know that, because if somebody doesn't know that, doesn't realise that could be the case, then they're just going to get frustrated if they don't see a drop and maybe chuck it or stop trying because they feel disheartened. Whereas at least if you know it's not going to be down every single time you weigh yourself, then you can deal with that a lot better. As I say, you can still be losing fat if your weight hasn't been down, but as I say, over time, if you're looking to lose body fat over a space of weeks and months, you should probably be seeing that number drop. Just don't expect it to drop every single time. At the end of the day, if you're being honest with yourself in regards to how the calories that you're intaking on a daily and weekly basis, how much you're moving, are you training enough, is your daily activity levels, like your steps, high enough? If they are where they need to be, and especially if you've got a coach telling you what to do, if you are doing exactly what they say, then you don't have a reason to worry if you have a weigh-in and your weight hasn't dropped, because it could be one of those many things that's making your scale weight either maintain or even go up, and you could still be progressing. If a client tells me that their diet is where it should be and their training and activity levels are where it should be, I don't care if they're not dropping in weight, because I know that they're still going to be making progress with fat loss, and at some point we will see that result on the scale. And yeah, I do weigh my clients because, as I said, it can be a useful tool to monitor progress. It's not the be all and end all, but it can be a useful tool. I take progress pictures of my clients, and if somebody's on a journey themselves, they should definitely be taking progress pictures, because at the end of the day, if you're not seeing a drop in the scale for whatever reason, and you take a visual and you compare it, and you've got blatant before and after of whether there's progress or not, I would just say that if you're taking progress pictures, make sure you're wearing the same kind of clothes, have your waistband at the same level, and try and get the same lighting and the same positioning at the camera. Don't be doing different angles to try and make yourself look smaller, because that's just pointless. But yeah, if you've got a scale weight and you've got photos and measurements, then there's 3 things that you can be looking at to gauge progress rather than just relying on scale weight alone. Just don't jump to conclusions over a bad weigh-in, and unless you've got a lot of body fat to lose, as you get leaner and you maybe don't have as much to lose, don't be expecting big drops on a scale. If you're losing fat alone, your loss for a week could be as little as half a pound, but that's still half a pound of fat loss. Half a pound to a pound a week is a very good result when you are aiming to lose fat, and if you can do that consistently, then you're doing pretty well. I was sitting in the gym a couple of weeks ago, and it was just like in a waiting area, and there was a set of scales at that bit, and there was a boy who jumped on the scales, saw his weight, jumped off and says to his pal, "Fuck's sake, I'm going to need to do more cardio even though I hate it." Now, I don't obviously know this guy, I don't know how he's gauging his progress, but he has, and what I'm assuming has just jumped on the scale at a random time of the day, a random day, probably after he's eaten, after he's drank whatever amounts of water, saw his scale weight go up, and thinks that he has to do more cardio, when in reality he's maybe weighing himself in the afternoon when he's weighed himself first thing in the morning previously, or his diet isn't where it needs to be. Maybe he's not tracking his food intake and he's eating too much, and he's just thinking he needs to do more cardio when he probably just needs to tighten up his diet, or he's had a bad weigh-in because of the inconsistency of the weigh-in. So yeah, if you're going to weigh yourself, make sure that you're doing it consistently, i.e. same time of the day, preferably in the morning, before you've eaten, after you've done the toilet. Also, I would stay away from the scales if there is a real emotional attachment to the scales. If you can't handle seeing your weight go up or stay the same, I would just not do it and rely on photos. There are some clients I don't weigh because there is too much of a bad reaction if their scale weight hasn't gone down. And even though I can sit there and say to them, it's okay, it's just one weigh-in, if your diet's been fine, you've nothing to worry about, they probably don't believe me and think that they need to do more cardio or they need to eat less, and that just isn't the case. So yeah, you need to kind of know within yourself if you're okay with accepting the fact that your scale weight isn't going to be a linear drop. But it definitely helps me keep on top of progress with clients, especially when we're aiming for fat loss. So I think that's all about it. Short one today, just my take on something, and hopefully, as always, it helps somebody somewhere. Speak to you soon, guys. Thanks a lot for listening today. Bye.